So these one-step questions, again, I don't think you'll find very difficult. We've done these already before. Again, you need to undo something. So if you just looked at these, you might be able to figure them out. 3 times something is 6. And that's great if you can tell right away that x is 2. Perfect. And a lot of these you'll be able to do in your head, but they get more complicated. So the technique that we always use is if we want to get x by itself. This one doesn't have any like terms. 3x and 6 aren't like terms. But we can do the opposite of multiplying, which is dividing. And if you divide this side by 3, then you have to divide this side by 3. And 6 divided by 3 is 2. And again, you'd probably say, do you need a pencil? You'd probably say, I could do that one in my head, which is great. Kyle, you got a pencil? Awesome. So for our work, even though you probably could do it in your head and say 2 times something is -8. Okay? When it gets into the negatives, a little bit more difficult, but you probably can say, oh, I know that the answer is -4. But as far as the work that we're going to start to show, these aren't like terms. But the opposite of multiplying by 2 is dividing by 2. So we'll begin to show that as our work, and then we'll be able to say -8 divided by 2, a negative divided by a positive is negative, and we get -4. 11 times a number is 22. That number would have to be 11 times what is 22? Close. 11 times 2. And how would we show our work? Well, to get the r by itself, it's right now multiplied by 11. We would divide by 11. 22 divided by 11 is just 2. I think so. Okay, next ones. Try these on your own. I'll put up the answers in a bit. Well, I'll start them right now. I'll give you guys 5-second head start. These won't take very long. Oh, you're doing some math. You can give it to me after and I can double check. So I want you to show your work. How did he do? Pretty good? Yeah, I give you some hard ones at the beginning, and then we're breaking it down and going through step by step and then building it up to get harder as they go. So these ones are one-step ones where you just have to do the opposite of what's happening. Because it says 6 times something is 12. If I wanted to find out what that something is, I'd have to undo the multiplying, which means I have to divide by 6. And we could do the same thing if there were dividing questions. This means something divided by 2 is equal to 2. Again, you might be able to do it in your head. What divided by 2 is equal to 2? X is equal to 4. But the opposite of dividing is multiplying. So I could get rid of the dividing by 2 if I multiply by 2. That would cancel these out, leaving me with just x. And then on the other side, I have 2 times 2, which is 4. Same thing here. I could multiply both sides by 3. That would cancel the 3's out here, because 3 divided by 3 is equal to just 1. And then I get 27. Here I'm dividing by 3. The opposite of dividing by 3 is multiplying by 3. These 3's would simplify to just be 1, leaving me with just x, and negative 7 times 3, negative 21. 6 plus 6 is 12. 6 times what is 12? You got the right idea.
6 times 2.
Yes, there you go. You're getting this.
X equals y. I'm like, what?
No, that's a 4. So here's 3 to you to try. I'll put up the answers in a bit. Mm-hmm. All right, how did you do? Did you multiply both sides by 4? You might have needed a calculator on this one. 64. Here you would have to multiply both sides by 5 to just get y by itself. 30 times 5, 150. Yes. If you're showing, because it's an equation, you have to show it on both sides, because what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So if you only show work on one side, you'd actually lose marks for your work in that situation, because temporarily you made them unequal. Okay? The only way we can keep that teeter-totter or the balance being equal is, right, if you times somebody's weight by 5, you'd have to times the other person's weight by 5 as well. So if we're going to show this, so what the question was, if I just do this, because I know that that's what I want to do, and then I write my answer, s equals negative 28. The answer is yes, you will lose marks, because you made a little mistake in this step, because you multiplied one side by negative 2. You have to show that you multiply the other side by negative 2 as well. Then you get full marks. Okay? You don't lose a mark. Like some of the questions, I canceled these out because 5 divided by 5 is 1, and negative 2 divided by negative 2 is 1. You wouldn't lose marks for not showing that you didn't cancel those out, because that's something you could do mental math in your head. But the idea is what you do to one side, you do to the other side is the key thing. So when you're showing your work, okay, if you didn't show any work and you just wrote y equals 150, that actually would still be full marks, because technically I could argue in one-step equations, I think you could do this mental math. But we want to start showing our work because we're going to get to two-step and three-step and multi-step solving questions eventually. And if you know the system starting from the easy ones, it'll make the rest of it work fine. And the system works really nice, especially when you get into decimal questions. Because mental math-wise, it might not be as easy to say 2 times what is 8.4, because the numbers get bigger or more complicated. So here, opposite of multiplying is dividing. Show that you divide both sides. Take out your calculator if you need to. You get 4.2. Divide both sides by 3. Take out your calculator if you need to. Negative 2.1. Divide both sides by 1.6. Take out your calculator if you need to. And you would get x equals 3. Again, 3 to try on your own. Try D, E, and F. I'll put up the answers. So you're dividing. Opposite of dividing is you multiply 1.5 on this side, multiply 1.5 on this side. Take out your calculator if you need to. You get 6. Multiply both sides by 5 to get c by itself. Take out your calculator if you need, you get 12. And multiply both sides by 2.5. Take out your calculator if you need to. That one probably is the most calculator one of all of them so far. Negative 6.25. Another 6 there to quickly try on your own. I know I can sense you guys want harder ones, right? I mean, you never want questions that are so hard that you can't do them, but if you are getting this, you're kind of like, I'm ready. I'm ready for the next level, Mr. JR. So we're very close. Right? Like, feeling good so far. I'll show the work and put up the answers so when you're done them, you can check. Again, understand right now, if you wait for me, you can copy down the right answers. But that does not help you get better at math. Try them on your own. Try to stay ahead. Try to get the answers. Then look at the solutions up on the smartboard to see if you're getting them. If you're getting them wrong, call me over. Call Mr. Shirk over. And we'll be able to say, hey, I think this is what you did, because you want to make sure that you're getting these. All right. So you check those first three. We're doing good? I'll put up the answers to the next three. Now the mental math is starting to build up here. Okay. So at the end of this, it says you can now do worksheet number 2, right? I'm going to stop the video here.